Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to JMac Sports Cards. Let me bring the guests on here. We
Hey,
got so we got
what's up,
uh,
everybody?
Oh,
Josh to the left changed his YouTube channel name to the O47 Sports and TCG Cards. Down below we got Huck, Degen Rips. How you doing, Huck?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Sorry, ran a little late, but hey, we made it.
We made it. We made it. It's all good. It's all good. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We got Chris, Pittsburgh. Let's see. Hold on.
Who's in here? Let's see. My boy Ethan's in here.
Yeah. Any plans to ever relocate back to Carolina? I was just talking about this with Josh. I don't think so, man. I'm small town America now. Pittsburgh, I want to say real quick, I'm going to be on a live stream tomorrow night. I had almost forgot about it. They reminded me on Instagram today with Pittsburgh and Huddle. What's your buddy's name? Huddle Card Collection on Huddle Card Collection's YouTube channel. So I'll share it on my community tab. And your buddy Ethan in the house. W Vogs, he's from Charlotte. Know him personally. So cool to see everybody. What's on everybody? Man. What's on your minds, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing all right. I guess I've been to a couple card shows lately. Feels like things are starting to pick up with retail sports cards. You know, Zenith and Donruss. It's feels like it's going to be a pretty exciting month. We got some, I guess, Topps announcements coming.
Yeah, I got the link pulled up. I actually want to share that. We'll share it a little later here because there was some good information that came out about that.
Yeah. Oh, big month.
Yep. Matter of fact, we could roll right into that. But before we do, I wanted to talk about one quick thing because it was something that happened on eBay. I wrote it down, and I don't want to get too far into the stream and forget about it. It was I just want to shout out a eBay user, and his store is Charles-317. Want to shout him out because he was understanding. I made a boo-boo on eBay. I sold a card that I didn't take down a listing. He bought it, checked out, and so it was one I sold at the Kansas City show. So I had to go through that rigmarole. I mean, it's only happened a couple times since I've really ramped up, right? But the couple times what I do is I created a coupon that says sorry JMac, and it's a 30% off any item in the store. So I say, sorry, really apologize, blah blah blah, and then I send this coupon, and then he replied back. He was upset, and at first, and then he, I guess this might be a perk to YouTube, he's like, oh, you're JMac, man, I watch your stuff. He said, man. He's like, I thought you were just one of those bum eBay sellers. And I said, no, man. I said, it was one of those WCW, NWO cards. So, anyway, so he asked me if I'd shout him out because of the drama. So Charles 3-317 is a store. Go check him out. He's trying to ramp up on eBay too. So appreciate you, Charles, for being understanding.
Nice. Yeah, no, I've had people reach out to me on eBay too, just like I get a message about a card and they're just like, oh, I don't know how to get in touch with you. I just want to say, what's up? People
right.
Just talk. Yeah.
Yeah, well, ever since eBay updated their messenger, it's almost like a text messaging thread now. Yeah. So it's really nice, right?
Yeah.
Yep. But so let me share the screen on this
let's talk about it.
Yeah, on this Topps announcement here. Let's see. Share screen. Here. Let's see. And I'll make it bigger.
Brandon Horton, what is up? Yes.
So this is Sports Collectors Daily. So Topps is putting some baseball products on hiatus. They're taking some down. We were just talking about that the other night. Yes, they're removing some products.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's so confusing.
Yep.
There's like 100 different Bowmans. They need to trim it down a bit.
We'll highlight the ones that are getting removed here. But then I guess the one that everyone's talking about is that they're going to have Brady Autos because he was drafted by the Montreal Expos in 1995. So Brady's going to be in Bowman product, I think. And then Bronny James is going to have, so LeBron's son is going to have autographs in here. But the big one is the streamlining of product releases was one of a few announcements. So here it is. So Topps revealed several product lines that wouldn't be produced in 23. Among them, Topps Opening Day, Gold Label, Clearly Authentic, Fire, Bowman First Edition, Gallery, Archive, Snapshots, and Bowman Chrome X and Bowman Heritage also sidelined. So that's kind of the news of, and some other stuff. What, anything else that you heard, Huck?
No, that's all I've heard. I don't have any inside scoop, nothing like that. But there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to be on the inside. But no, yeah, that's cool reading that. Less products, just less. Maybe instead of 300 rookie cards for Wander Franco, we'll get 200 next year.
For real.
Yeah. Well, and Jason, we talked about, and shout out to Jason Courtney too, joining our live stream. We talked about this last week, and then Jason, like, how many Topps products are there? And then after the live stream, I went and made sure to look through and would have seen what it was. So, it was at 76 different products, and it looks like they're cutting 10 now with this announcement. So they're going to get down to 66, which is good. In the ballpark, I guess, of where Panini is with football and basketball. So I still think it's way too much. I still think if we could go half of that, if there were 3 releases a month, 3 or 4 maybe, I think, that would be a much more desirable, to me at least, product streamlining as a whole. But I'm glad to see they're starting to, retire some of these, I guess you consider them underperforming sets, but it's really just junk. And, it's filler. It's whatever you want to make of it. So I'm glad to see Topps, doing that. As for the Brady auto and the Bronny auto thing, part of me thinks that's a money grab situation.
Yeah.
But other of it's kind of unique. I mean, like I said, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and some other folks have signed baseball cards before, so it's not like it's super rare to be doing something like that. So,
well, to me, it's not the Bronny. I don't know if I'm not as big a fan about that, because who knows if he ever, Barry Sanders had a son. You ever heard of him? Has he ever done anything? Not really. In college, he did. But so is Bronny James ever going to be something? Who knows? Maybe not. But that's pretty actually ingenious. You gotta think to get Brady into Topps products, back into Topps products, as quick as possible. So you got to think that's probably Fanatics' influence, though. Up there, trying to help brainstorm on ways to, cut down some products and then introduce some buzz and some hype around products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with just finding ways to reach out and get people excited without devaluing the products. I feel like that's what Panini kind of screwed up on. Just as long as they don't do that, like,
there's going to be some chasers. There'll be people chasing Brady, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Check this out. We got Rakesh from India. What's up, man? Awesome. How's it going? Thanks for joining.
What's the time in India right now? I wouldn't even know. Is it the other day? Is it? We're already.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what time you got, Rakesh? I hope I'm saying your name right. I may not be. Panini should follow Topps and get rid of Prestige and Score. Scores. Well, is it Prestige is the first product that drops every year? Not, or is it in football?
Prestige. Well, yes. Prestige is the first.
So it's kind of like a rite of passage. Or Score. They're like the first couple products that drop. So a lot of people have collected them for many years. So it'll be like kind of like it's like hoops. A lot. New collectors don't like hoops, but old school collectors in hobby shops, people go and if they're going to rip any basketball, they're like, I want some hoops. So old school collectors like the first products and the ones that have been, here year over year over year. So That's just something to think about with that. Chris says, "What's on my mind? I used to rip a lot." Yeah, I know, Chris. Look, I interviewed the owner of the shop, Lucky Box Sports Cards in Charlotte. It was a newer shop. Great guy. He's the Dirk Nowitzki super collector. Probably got the greatest Dirk collection of anybody, like for real. And but Chris would come in there, and there's a couple guys, and man, they would just rip everything he had every week. So, but he says, starting from scratch without ripping $250,000 in wax. Yeah, it was crazy to see some of these guys ripping like that,
Yeah.
So,
well, we got the king of the rip right now on the line. So,
oh man,
well, he shows the real side of it, though.
Yeah, man. There's just some rough products out there where you'd be lucky to get 20% of your money back in cards. It's rough out there. It really is. I mean, I'm blessed with ad revenue to make up the difference sometimes, but I don't know how just the average collector could just want to rip wax and not just only buy singles. It's tough. It's, man, people, you take it on the chin. Like when you open a lot of these products, it's, man.
Yeah. Look, I got a confession to make. I went to a Walmart the other day, and they had everything was in stock, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna spend about $100 today, and I bought it, and I even filmed it just in case. But like you Huck, I'm like, sometimes I wonder how you're able to keep positive and make it entertaining, because I'm like bummed out. I ripped, I didn't hit anything, and I spent $100, but it was like Mosaic. It was what else was it? Some Select. So and I did rip 22, 23 hoops because I was trying to get a Banchero, because my thing is I'm a Duke fan. I told Josh this because he was bagging on me because I got a Zion auto that I won't sell.
I'd still be bagging on you right now, especially with him having played for a month.
Right. But that's the thing. So I try to get like one decent card of every Duke player. But the thing is, now we always have the number one draft pick is Duke player. You think about it, you got Kyrie, you got Zion, you got Tatum, you got they're all Duke, and now Banchero. So they're all expensive. So I'm like, maybe I'll hit a decent little hoops of Banchero. I didn't, but I tried. So in other words, it was funny. So I filmed the video, and I was like, no, I'm not posting this because it was terrible. So
yeah. Nah, I've been there. I have stuff on my phone still that I haven't uploaded because I've just gotten destroyed. Like I try to upload it, but there have been times where I just got smoked. Like when Absolute came, the worst month I've ever had was when Absolute came out this year, and like I'm saying, I wanted to go kaboom hunting, and I was just blowing like $300 on blasters, and just you make nothing back. And I was just like, like just in pain. I was like, I can't upload some of this stuff. I was like so mad, just like, like I would get like some relic of some random rookie, and that would be the hit, and I would just like, $30 just down the drain, and I would just turn the camera off, and I would be like, I'm not into it. I can't show a $150 loss.
Yeah, the concept I was trying to make, the concept of the video I was doing when I was ripping that, I was like, let's see. I want to see if we can get back to $100 with this, right? And then I'm adding it up after each, because it was all like just hangers, so they were $15 a piece or something, or thick packs, cello packs and stuff. And I'm like, no, we're probably at like $35 right now, and and I was like, I mean, it would have been maybe a little bit entertaining, but it was just like I just felt so bad,
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on, we got quite a few folks commenting here. Let's see what's going on here.
Wild card basketball, huh? Yeah, no, you and me both. I love my wild card basketball.
Brandon's asking about MJ Holdings not having the employees to stock products at Walmart and Target in your area. Mine's pretty stocked, but I'm in rural America, so.
Well, I think during the peak it was an issue, and during sort of some of those stores transfer, ownership and things like that. But if you're going to a Walmart and Target right now and you're not finding product, the problem is you, not Walmart or Target, to be honest with you, because there are so many bricks of that wall right now that are laid out with some of these stores. Are just like, you can get what you want.
Yep. Pretty much. Sean asks, are you coming back to Kansas City? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna do that one once a year. But I think I'm gonna go to Nashville actually coming up in 2 weeks. I'm not gonna set up. I'm just gonna go to it. So, still pending. A couple things got to set up for that to happen. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Garrett talking about liking what he's seeing out of the Top Summit. eBay is changing how they do promoted listings starting sometime in March. I hadn't heard about that.
Here, I want to tell you too another eBay thing since we're on the eBay thing. It looks like eBay is hiring too, I don't know, what is it? A CEO of cards,
trading cards.
Yeah,
they need that bad. Yeah. They need that. I don't know what percent of all their sales are sports cards. I assume it's a lot of choice in this.
Well, when you look at, because you can Google eBay, the top sellers on eBay, and like in the top 10, there's 3 or 4 or 5 of them. DC Sports is up there,
which we recommend. I recommend DC Sports 87.
Yep, I can sign with I still, even though I'm trying to list all my stuff on eBay, when I buy a collection and I bring it home, I still consign some to get some money back quick. And me not. It's hard for me to list at 99-cent auctions. I have this thing where it won't. I just can't do it, right? So if I send them to someone else, I'll let them do it, but I won't do it on my own. I just have this struggle with not at least getting what I feel I should on the card. So if I send it off though, then that breaks that where I gotta settle for whatever it ends at, So
well, all I know is every time I've ever sent cards to DC Sports 87, I get paid quickly. You don't have any issues. They get listed fairly quickly,
and they get a lot more eyes on your stuff than you get on your own eBay store.
So, and for new folks, if it's basically if you have cards that are like $5 or more, that you're just you don't want to sit there and list them, list all these $5, $10, whatever, even more cards, higher end cards. You can just bulk it up and send it to DC Sports 87. They'll do all the listing. All you do at the end of the day is you get that money back. Minus the percentage that they take from it, and still, even that's reasonable. That's more or less what
it's pretty eBay, close to what eBay takes. Honestly, with maybe there's like a 50-cent listing fee, and it might be 2% more on, but on low end they charge you more because it's hard. It takes more manpower for them to list lower end stuff.
Well, so I'm telling you, those type of cards, you shouldn't be that overtly concerned with, anyways. So Joe said, do they choose the price? They do just straight up auctions. If you want to, you can talk, work out something where it's a buy now or something of that nature. They've been flexible in some. I've done some of those things.
Yeah, you can set buy it now.
Yeah,
if you want.
But I wouldn't. I don't. Their auctions get the most, like you were saying, Jace. They get the most eyes on it, so there's no need to do that, in my mind. So
right.
It varies, Corey. It varies between 80%.
80% up to like 20. We can pull it up. I'll look at it. But I think it's 80% on really low end, and then it's like if it goes over $100, it's 85%. But this is basically what you're getting with,
So if you got a bulk lot at home of $5 cards or higher that you don't want to deal with, you don't want to list, you don't want to do it, just put it in a package and send it to them, and
here it is.
They'll hit you up with a check or PayPal.
Not a bad deal.
Yeah.
And so DC Sports, since we're showing this, and we use you. Look, I'm looking to get sponsored too. So is Huck. So there it is. So yeah, if it's under $10, it's 80%. Like I said, they charge more because they don't want you to send that stuff. Or it's 80% plus 75%. So see, anything under $25 is you get less. But you start getting up over $25, you get basically what you get from eBay. And look, if you sell a big card with them, you get more than you would get from eBay.
And that's a big key right there too.
So yeah, if you got
willing to do that, but yes.
But the other key is they don't take vintage, so you can't it's got to be 1980 and above. So a lot of the $1,000 to $5,000 cards are vintage, Well, like they took a stack of like NT, Justin Fields, and us. They do they're starting to do a lot better job on Instagram showing big stuff that comes in sometimes. So, but then, yeah, they're good. Like I said, I'll front load a collection and send it to them. And then I'll sell through everything else on my own eBay store. And here's something else I've sort of learned to do when I buy a collection, like real kind of decent cards that are probably people are most likely buying them to grade them, right? If there's like any type of flaw on them, right? The thing is, if you sell it on eBay, even if you disclose it, right? Sometimes people will buy those on eBay, and then they'll try to dispute you about it. They want a perfect JMac 10 card on everything. So if I think a card's going to get an 8 or a 9 or something like that, I'll send it to DC Sports and let them have to disclose it, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't have to deal with returns.
Yes.
So
that's the big issue too, yes. The whole dealing with the customer.
Yeah. So if it's when it's low end, $3 to $5 card, $10 cards, I don't care if they try to return it. I'll accept the return. I'm fine with it. But if it's $100, $200 card, I don't want to have that returned. You know what I mean? So let DC Sports deal with the bigger stuff. So that's how I get my money back quick on a collection.
DC Sports 87, ComC. I mean, there's a ton of different ways you can sell low end cards across the board. You just got to look into it. I mean, a lot of big name ones are valid, so it's pretty good.
I had never even heard of that service. I had so many, like hundreds of cards worth between $3 and $10 just sitting around, like stacks and stacks, just from all the garbage I've opened, and I've just been too lazy to list. And man, I never even heard of that, but I kind of wish I sent them like 5 shoe boxes worth of stuff to just list for me. So.
Well, they will the low end stuff. They will kick a lot of it back. I sent in at one point. I had bought a couple collections. This was last year early, and I sent in probably a couple 2-rows. Right? They probably sent back a 2-row because it's literally it has to have like regular sales above $5 each card.
Yeah.
So if not, then they're not going to list it. They're going to they're going to reject. And it took a long time for me to get those cards back. But it was a happy day. One day, all of a sudden, I got this big, what was it? A medium flat rate box full of top loaded cards. And I was like, all right, there's the next show. There's my $2 box. The whole thing, So.
Well, I think we got a good tee up here for Huck about Brandon asked about how many offers you get on that Judge 101 and to maybe tell the whole story.
Talk about it.
And where it turned into. Felt like I was as much a part of that deal as it went down. So I want you to tell it, Huck.
So I pulled the 101, and I don't know what something like that's worth. It's hard to find Superfractor or Aaron Judges, so I really had no idea. Took it to a show and just asked a couple people. The numbers were just all over the place. People said 500, 600, 2,000, 1,000. And then someone there said, oh, you know what? You should put it on eBay for like an extra high price and then take offers. And so, there it is. And then, so I did what he said. I put it at like $3,000 on eBay and then just said send offers. And I got a couple offers. 2,000 and then 2,100 like within the first day, and then I knew like a lot of these guys at the shows were just trying to finagle me, just try to rip me off, and then I knew. But then I took it to another show or two, And I was telling people what it was, what kind of offers I was getting for it. And I was showing them on eBay. And they were like, look, I believe you're getting those offers, but one-of-ones are hard to move. It's hard to take a risk on it. And they were like, it's a gift and a curse to get a one-of-one. And I was just so crushed and defeated. I was like, I'm never getting rid of this thing. I'm not a Yankee fan. I've maybe seen Aaron Judge bat one time when he broke the record. That was really it. And so I go to one show, and this was the day after I got my LaMelo Ball redemption. And the day after, I take the LaMelo and the Judge to a show. It was a really small show in Fort Lauderdale. And this really nice guy, I think he goes by the name like Card Dubs or something on Facebook. And he had this Tom Brady patch auto from like 2008, game worn. And I just fell in love with the card. I was like, that's what I wanted, that Brady. And I just wanted it so bad. I tried to make deals with this guy, and I was like, you know what? I'm taking out the big guns. I'm bringing out the Judge. Like all these other basketball cards weren't cutting it. I wanted to leave with that Brady card. And think about this. So my LaMelo Ball redemption, I redeemed the code a year ago with the money I won for my fantasy football league. So $100 entry. I was into this LaMelo card for $100 from the fantasy football entry. The Aaron Judge one-of-one was a clearance mega box I was into for like $40. And the other card I threw in was this other Brady rookie card that I traded my Justin Fields downtown for, that I got from a cello box or a cello pack, which was like $11-12. So I'm into all these cards, the Judge, everything for $100-something. And this Brady card is worth, at least the guy had it at $2,500. So I was just like, I'm into this stuff for so little. I don't care. I just want this Brady. I'm leaving with this Brady. Nothing's stopping me. So took this Bowman SGC 8 Brady, the LaMelo redemption, and the Judge one-of-one. And I said, look, you're going to take this, man. I'm not leaving. You're taking this deal. He thought about it, and then he took it. And then you look now, LaMelo is out for the season, and that card is probably worth half at best what it was when I first got it back. So made out pretty well. And I just learned from listening to Josh and JMac, like it's fun to prospect and try to bet on the future, but it's too much money involved in a $600-something LaMelo card, and this guy's 21 years old and hasn't done anything. Like $600-something stake in a guy that it could all just go away the next day. But Brady, like a Brady Pats jersey, Pats card, like that's it. There's never going to be more made cards like this again, and he's proven. Thousands of other guys are gonna step up to the plate and try to surpass Brady, and it's not going to happen. That's only going to make Brady look even better. So walked away from that feeling a little queasy. It was a big deal for me, but now seeing LaMelo got hurt last night, I obviously don't wish anyone to get hurt, but I just saw that injury and I was like, yeah, now I feel a bit better about making that trade. So yeah, for sure. And
you definitely made the right trade. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's an incredible card because you got both. You got a game worn and an auto, which is like phenomenal. It's like the two things like collectors chase.
Yep.
You got them both in one card, so it's an awesome Brady.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that card so much, and yeah, that like my friend Ethan said, we go to these local shows and we've seen this guy, the same vendor, or it's just at every show. And he still hasn't been able to get rid of the Judge. So it's been like a month. He hasn't been able to get rid of it yet.
Oh, he'll get rid of it. Trust me.
Yeah, he'll get rid of it. But it was just really funny because I get messages on eBay and Instagram like, oh, someone's pretending to be you and that's your Judge. Like now I'm like synonymous with that card. They're like, oh, someone's trying to make me an offer for that Judge. Just wanted to let you know. And I'm like, nope, I traded it. That's his. So it's fun.
And I want to say too, just Huck. I mean, and Jason, you know this too. I mean, how rare it is to even do a no cash to get into that card.
Yeah.
You can do straight trade like he did and working it out. I mean, I'm super proud of Huck for.
Yeah, no, you talked me through it. You talked me through it that day. I was about to leave, and I texted you like, should I just throw the kitchen sink at this? And you were like, do it, man. Just go for it.
Well, and a lot of OG like dealers and collectors, they would only trade, if you had like a Jordan, or it would have to be a GOAT for them to trade out of that card right there. So, that's what there's this one guy, he's just all Brady collector. So like people come to his table, he just is like, sorry man, I'm not even if it's the greatest 101, it's like, sorry, I'm not trading. I'll buy it from you for cash, but I'm not trading it for a Brady, So yeah, like Josh said, it's pretty. That was a good deal on your end to be able to actually pull that thing off.
Yeah. I was pretty thrilled, and every day I feel better that I did it too. So.
Speaking of quarterbacks, how about this? I'll change the gears a little bit. And we were talking last week, Jason, about, that you were talking about, a lot of the base rookies are selling pretty good. So you can tell a lot of new people are getting into the hobby, buying base rookies, raw quarterbacks, things like that. But I want to say to the people out there listening today, and I talked with Huck with this too about this. The backup quarterbacks, if you want to go and invest in backup quarterbacks, and I was leading up to today's live stream, I wanted to go back and I was looking at all the stats, at least dollar-wise, and I want everybody to listen to this. So I want you to listen to this list of people from last year who their cards did 3x to 40x of value. Skylar Thompson, Mike White, Tyler Huntley, Sam Ellinger, Jarrett Stidham, Taylor Heineke, Sam Howell, Gardner Minshew, Desmond Ritter, Brock Purdy, Kenny Pickett, Bailey Zappi. Now you tell me, if you can't make money off a starting quarterback, I'm telling you right now, and this seems to be like a trend too, the past couple of years too. Everybody wants to get on somebody before they become somebody. So I'm telling you right now, if you're at a local card show and you see, or a lot of backup quarterbacks for next year, pick those rookie cards up on the cheap and just wait until the moment arises during the season and start putting those things out on eBay or selling them locally. That is guaranteed, seems to be guaranteed profit. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say, Jason, on that front.
Well, it's a long season, football. It's a contact sport, and a quarterback touches the ball every play, right? So it's a good chance he's going to get dinged up at least for a game or two. Even those games, the one game that he goes out, there's a good chance that backup's going to pop because people speculate on anything. It's like that's the thing we got now in the hobby is with a lot more new people is they're willing to risk it all for a week or two. So it's crazy.
It's insane. But I mean, I think, if you're wise enough to do it on the front end right now, football's on the afterthought right now in the cycle. So, picking up backup quarterback cards, rookie cards, autos, I mean, anything you can get super cheap, just hold it and wait for the moment because it's going to happen. And hold on. And I even tell and I'm already ahead of it. I'm not just going to say it. I'm going to say I invested in it too. So I was telling Huck about this. I purchased the first backup quarterback, Jordan Love playbook locker ticket, 91 out of 99 auto. So I'm not just speaking. I'm actually thinking that way, personally too. So that's what I'd encourage y'all to do.
Yeah. Who is the backup to Jordan Love? Because if that doesn't work out, I don't even know who his backup is.
No clue.
Well, I mean, now I think everybody now is going to be thinking about third stringer now that Brock Purdy has put the third stringer on the map as a whole. So yeah, I mean, even you want to go that deep on some stuff, I think it's worth the investment because I just literally saw people lose their mind this year on backup quarterbacks, and the year before too. I mean, it's just a weird dynamic. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And in the last year or so since I started getting like serious again into collecting and and sports cards in general, I can't recall one, FOMO moment where something, withheld. It's just parabolic rise, like a Zappy or a Purdy. They've always come back down to earth every single time. I don't know the last year and a half any sport that I could remember where someone, Geno Smith, I remember his stuff.
That's even another one. I mean,
went crazy, and it's just they've all come right back down. Every single time. There hasn't been one like you see something happen in a game and you rush to your phone to buy something. That was such a losing strategy.
Even like Matthew Stafford, right? Won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or went to the Super Bowl. And he won it. They won it.
He won it.
Yeah.
That's right. They won it, and then his stuff crashed and burned.
Yeah.
Obviously, because the next year they didn't have a good year.
Yeah.
But in the hobby, wouldn't you agree, Jason? Like, it's just you got to sell the hype and buy the goat. Sell the hype, buy the goat. That's how I do.
Yeah.
And then before you jumped on Huck, I was talking with Josh offline, and I was telling him because I picked up one collection. Well, I dealt with the guy all last week on it, and he shipped it to me, and it arrived yesterday. But so I was working on a collection to buy a collection, and then finally got it. And then I purchased another one that I'm meeting a guy tomorrow to pick up another one. But me and Josh were talking, and I was like, I like to buy collections that have, a lot of retired players in it that are like, even if they aren't Hall of Famers, they're all-stars, but they're cool cards of players like that, because it's like those kinds of players, you don't got to worry about the risk, but then also those players always have fans that are always trying to add something to their collection of those kinds of players. Where I told Josh this one I'm looking at tomorrow is an ultra modern collection. So I told the guy, listen, I basically told him, I'll buy it from you. I don't usually buy these kinds of collections, but I'm not gonna pay you very much for it. Yeah. So we negotiated. I bought it, and some people think I'm trying to rip the guy off. I bought it maybe for like 40%, 30% of comps, cheap.
Yeah.
Right. But the guy needed cash, and I'm like, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to pay you a premium because, and it's football heavy. It's off season. That stuff could just, it's going to just keep going down.
Yeah.
Or it could go up on an announcement, just a couple players. Right. But so, I did, it's not like he wasn't aware that we were on the same, we were in agreement. That he said, I need the cash. There's a few things I need to do right now with cash, so I'd rather have that than these cards. So yeah, I agree. I'll agree to that deal. But I just say that to people buying collections and looking for deals and looking for stuff to buy is you might think it's not. You might think it's boring or if it's a Hall of Famer, or whatever. But end of the day, there's always collectors for those kinds of players.
Correct. Yeah. And don't always think this is not something you like. Somebody else is going to like it, and it's going to sell. That's how I always think too. Is I almost get in the mindset of like, I don't buy for myself. I buy for others, to a degree, and what they're willing to pay.
Exactly.
I mean, I only buy for myself when it's stuff that I'm going to keep, for a longer time frame. So that's where I'm at with that thinking. Jason, is don't always think it's just like. Just because you don't know what it is, maybe you don't really want that player or you don't really like that situation or whatever. But if the card is selling and people are buying it, and you can get it at a good price, why wouldn't you do it? Just because it's not, in your likability. You know what I mean? I bought tons of cards that I did not like at all, but I sold them and made a profit because I knew somebody else wanted them.
Yeah.
And I was just that conduit, to make that happen. So,
yeah, you got to know what people collect. You got to so that's the thing about eBay comps. I'm not this isn't going to be a bash eBay comps thing, but now selling enough on eBay to know that some cards, man, they really only actually some cards have only sold a few times, and I'm talking about like base cards. Some players base rookies or some cards have only sold a few times. that don't hardly ever sell. So there's a number on a card maybe that you can find as a comp, but this card's not liquid at all. That means, so let's just say there's a $5 comp on a card that you're looking at, or a $10 comp. Well, and it's only got like 2 or 3 sales in the last year. There's a reason it's only got 2 or 3 sales in the last year. That means there's only 2 or 3 people that were willing to buy it at whatever price it sold for. So, once you start to learn, like I talk about this a lot with people talking about buying stuff. I'm like, look for big fan bases: Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, Boston Celtics, even Philly fans on both sides, 76ers, and they'll pay up, and they'll always buy their rookies of the Northeast. Most of the Northeast, all the teams up there, they got big fan bases. Kansas City has big fans. So those kinds of things, if you incorporate those little details into your hobby purchases that you're trying to, you're trying to sell your stuff to get a better collection for yourself or to make money. Think about, add that to your equation in what you're looking for when you're buying.
And I want to say one more point too on that component is not every card that you buy or in general are you going to flip and make a huge profit. And Jason, you know this, Huck, you know this. You're not going to sell. You're not going to. Sometimes you're going to lose a little bit of money. Sometimes you'll break even. Sometimes you'll make a couple bucks. Sometimes you'll make $100. Some super grail ones. Someone gets on a hot run. People are, like you say, volume buying somebody. You can make $1,000 plus on a card, but it's a rare circumstance when those type of things happen. The majority of your buying and selling should be, in my mind, in between that. Maybe you're making $15 profit to, a couple $100, maybe in that range is what I'm saying. And the majority of your profits, even less than that. It's probably, in the $10 to $100 range, but if you keep doing it over and over and over again, that's how you build up and get successful in this hobby. At least for me, I don't know how you all feel about that.
Yeah, no, the perfect example of that, of selling into a lot of hype, was recently with LeBron. A great example was him breaking the record, people buying and then selling, maybe right before he was about to break it or that night that he did. And if you just got too attached and you held those cards, now he could be out for the season. And it's just, you got to sell into the hype. Like, when the record's broken and there's nothing really else to look forward to, and that's it. That's the peak. Don't just keep holding it and just, unless you love LeBron. But if you want to make a profit, you got to not only know when to buy, but when to sell as well.
Correct.
That's just everything.
Don't get too emotionally attached to any card.
Yeah.
That's what I always say is, if you're emotionally attached to something, just like, not even card-wise, if you're just in life, that are actual physical things now. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about like physical things. Well, it's going to make you harder to buy and sell that thing, and you're never going to see it clearly. It's always going to be an issue in your mind, because you personally may hold it up to more value. Like JMac, a one-on-one Cam Newton or Steve Smith may hold a lot more value to you than it does to me. It's just that type of, Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm muted. Sorry, I got a three row Panther box of like crazy Panther stuff, and man, I am emotionally attached to them. But it's also me knowing that probably most of them I did probably pick up for probably break even zero right at the point after it's all said and done, because I pick them up in bulk lots and deals, so I wind up basically getting them for nothing. The outlier is that DJ Moore 1/1 gold vinyl auto, and that one I spent a little bit on that one. So, but it was a whole rainbow. So I still haven't sold off the rest of the rainbow, but that's my plan, is to sell off the rest of them and just keep the 1/1, and then someone might have to come back to me one day to get the 1/1.
There you go.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I would say too, like, even like, you hear people doing it, not as much anymore, but really, if you are attached to your cards and you just say you want to keep them, maybe even get like a safety deposit box at a bank, put them in there and keep out of sight, out of mind. Just forget about them. You know,
Yeah.
I know. So some people have done that, and then they go back and they're like, "Man, I got a LeBron auto in there, rookie auto." You know.
Yeah.
So crazy stuff. So, but some people might go back in this era and it'd be like junk wax era and be like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
it's not worth much."
Well, yeah, well,
Depending on what you keep.
yeah, there's definitely going to be some things in there that are going to be, you know, considered.
If it's a bunch of base rookies, then yeah, it probably won't be worth much.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear what Huck, is there anything on your mind that you want to talk about? I told Jason before we started that I felt like, you know, you needed a sports card therapist.
Yeah.
On a week to week basis. I try and serve that role as best I can, but I feel like, you know, I'm interested to hear whatever's rattling around in your head at the moment about cards or things in card shows or whatever. You know, talk you through some of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I went with my friend Ethan to a sports card show in West Palm at the Palm Beach Kennel Club, and it was, you know, it's not South Florida. Surprisingly, the sports card scene isn't too big here, so like 50 tables is a really good show for around here in West Palm, and so we go in there, and just there was such a disconnect between the dealers and the buyers. Such an insane disconnect. You had the buyers in there like, okay, this is a good time to buy. I want to buy the dip. I want to get in on some cards that I really wanted at a fair price. And then you had the dealers who were like, man, I'm into this stuff for way too much. I can't let it go for the prices right now. Whatever it's going for on eBay, you know, like I have to pay the fee to have the table. And I bought this card for way too much. I can't, you know, they'd say flat out, you know, that's fair what you're offering me. I understand that. It's totally fair. But this card is maybe a $200 card right now. But once the playoffs come around and they're starting to play a bit better and they're healthy, it's going to go up to 400. And I'm just like, whoa, you know, like I'm the one taking that kind of risk. Like you can't sell me that risk, you know, like I'm taking the risk. And so like there was a guy had this Tyrese Maxey downtown, and I'm trying really hard to get some good basketball, like just before the playoffs, because then I want to start flipping them when there's hype around the playoffs. And the Sixers are a really good team, and I wanted some Tyrese Maxey. And there was this downtown. It was such a cool card, and it was fairly priced. I looked on alt, like it was selling for like $210, $215. So I go to the guy like, you know, 200 cash. I'll buy that right off you if, you know, if there's any wiggle room or whatever. And he's like, oh man, I'm into this card way too much. Can't give it away for 200, 400. I could do around 400. And I'm just like showing him the comps, like, you just see 215, 210, 213. And he's like, I know, I see that, but you know, the playoffs are coming around. If they go far, then maybe next season this will be a $700 card. I have no doubt. And I'm just like, I just want to walk away. Like, okay, like thanks.
You should walk away.
Just walk away. And
was there any fair dealers that were thriving in the show? Because a lot of times it'll be at shows like that, and then there'll be this one dealer that is like he's selling cards, you know?
Yeah, no, the one guy I made the deal with the Brady card for goes by Card Dubs. That's on Facebook, and he's great. You know, I've been able to do deals with him before, but the problem was you just had so many people there that were just like begging for some, you know, just noob, as we call it, to just walk in and just be like, yeah, wow, $400 a Jason Tatum rookie. Like, yeah, I'll buy that. But there was just such a disconnect. And it's like, when are they going to realize that, you know, these cards aren't coming back to what they were, man? Like, unless they win the NBA Finals, like you're not getting that back. Like, you got to cut your losses at times. But people were just, multiple times I'm trying to make a deal. And I only made a deal with one guy at that show, and he was like, I made so much money this show, I don't even care. I see that. Yeah, going for $70, I'll do $70. But several people I just got rejected immediately. Like we were just in two different worlds. They were like, they were just like, I'm into these cards for too much. Tua cards too. Like Tua, whose stuff is at the absolute bottom, just like dragging on the bottom. And people, it was the hardest thing was to make a deal for a Tua card because they just think they're in it for way too much that they can't accept that it's a third of what they bought it for. They just can't, it doesn't comprehend that they don't want to get rid of it. They're just praying that all of a sudden something will change. And
how far is Tampa from you?
About 3.5 hours.
So you're way down there, huh? You're way down.
Yeah. Fort Lauderdale, Miami area.
Man, so I'm looking at it on the map. Jeez, you're way
it's
down
a huge Florida. People don't realize how big of a state it is. Just to get out of it is a 7-hour drive.
So I was gonna say you need to travel to some other. You basically got to fly if you want to go to a big show, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, Jason, you want to address what he's talking about, and then I'll chime in.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess
give him the dealer perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the thing is, see, I've been like when markets, I hate to call it markets, when the hobby started resetting and stuff, was starting to really kind of sell off. I saw what you're talking about, but most shows I've went to, I haven't went to a lot of shows lately, but the shows I'm going to now, where the hobby's kind of vibrant, even like Trustville, where we met at Josh, the flip show, all of his shows, it's good dealers that understand the hobby and the market, and so I haven't experienced it too much. It's but even like Josh, I remember him setting up for the first time, asked me for some pointers. I was like, set prices at comps and take below comps, unless it's really rare stuff, you don't want to, but
and then the second time I did it, I put my stuff below comps so that things would move a lot faster. And I would say this too, and this is more going to, I see G Squared, most of them lie about how much they are into the card for too, thinking we will feel bad. That's not my experience. Especially too, having now done the dealer role, and then also have been dealing with a lot of dealers for years now. That's not the case that I experience. I feel, and especially too, is I feel like I am, as a buyer or seller, I am extraordinarily transparent with where I'm at and what I'm is. I think that there are the good amount of dealers, and maybe Jason can speak to this too. I just feel like there are really good dealers out there that are really transparent, that are really honest, that are really straightforward, that have been in the grind for a very long time. They're not sitting there trying to nickel and dime you with some different things. I feel like they're being straight up. Now, look, are there some bad apples out there? 100%, no doubt. But I'm talking for the majority of folks that I've had experience with over in my lifetime dealing with cards. It's not that way. It's just, and maybe it's just the people I have worked with and dealt with. I don't know.
And I will say to add to it is, when I've went to a show where that has been the case, where there's been more of a majority of dealers that are just out of whack or they're out of touch with reality, and or like old vintage dealers, they'll still want to use Beckett and whatever. Then that's where, as a buyer, you try to find the opportunities, and most times that will be like digging through value boxes or $10 boxes or $5 boxes, and find stuff that never got updated, prices never got updated, reset, stuff like that. So that's where you would just have to be proactive, and to find deals, you got to really seek them when there's a lot of dealers like that.
Yeah. Well, and two is, as we've talked about too, is when you're at a show and you can if you find someone's case or someone's a lot of cards that you can put together as a bulk lot, it's easier to make a deal that way, to get a card at a price that you want, rather than just a singlet, card or two cards that you're trying to purchase. that's always the best way to do it. But you got to find those dealers too. You got to find those people that
the ones
have the parts you're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that will actually even do a bulk deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but my thing to that is I wouldn't get frustrated. You just got to chalk those things up. And I think, have we all experienced a hard dealer? And I think too is, being on the flip side now where I've set up as a dealer, I get it. Like I get the questions, I get the people wanting to get into cards at a low price and things like that. But I'm usually the one that's got my phone out saying, "Hey, look, this is what this comped at last time. This is what I'm selling it for. This is what I'm willing to do."
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be proactive, I guess, on the transparency component. But I do that even if I'm just a person like you, Huck, that's walking the show and I'm wanting to get into some cards. I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to be as honest and transparent as I can be. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't,
Yeah, no, I had such a frustrating experience with this one dealer there that he had this Devin Booker card I really wanted, Devin Booker autograph. And I just, it's also important to look at betting odds, like just to get a feel of, which teams are projected to do well and who most people are thinking is going to do well, because that's who you want to sell to. And the Suns are the favorite in the West. So I wanted to get some Suns cards to sell into the playoffs. And it had this really nice Devin Booker card. And I pulled up the comps for it. And I was just telling him like, 600 and this is what it sold for like within the last 2-3 days. And then, he started giving me the pitch again, like, oh, but I don't want to sell that. Like he's like, I don't want to sell this. And then I tried to talk to him about an Embiid card. He's like, oh, I don't want to sell these two. I don't want to sell Embiid or Booker right now. And, he has them right there in the middle of the case, like on display. And I'm like, why? And then I show him the comps. He's like, I know that's what it is right now, but in a month or two, those are going to go up so much. And I don't want to get rid of them right now. But it's the market's forward thinking. Like what people are buying now is because they think that's going to happen. It's being priced in, and
that line of thinking only worked when everything was going up.
Yeah,
because people were saying that during the big hype boom, but they were like, well, man, I don't know, I can't, it was a bad comp yesterday, but next week there'll be a good one. And some people would go ahead and pay it, but that was only during that one little outlier time frame.
Yeah, no, I think the bottom isn't in yet. From what I saw at that show, I don't think the bottom's in. These dealers are going to have this, come to God moment where they're just like, wow, football's coming around the corner. This stuff isn't going up like I thought. What do I do? What do I do? And then they just get rid of everything. Like that's got to happen before the market catches up to reality. It's just like this show, it just did it. And makes me think there's more pain to come. Oh. Eventually it'll wash out, but it was bad.
There's tons of people who have bought at the top, book cards at the top of the mountain, of the market, of the hype. Like Jason was talking about, in this past year or two. So there's tons of people holding cards that'll never get back to those. I shouldn't say never. It would take a really unique situation like we just experienced for them to get to those levels. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. You got people that don't want to take losses, and I get that. But I will say one thing though you sort of brought up that sort of got me thinking a little bit. That does frustrate me with dealers is that component of when they put a card in a showcase and then say, "Yeah, I'm just got it for display," or "I'm not selling that card." That stuff needs to stop. I can tell you right now. When a dealer says that to me, I immediately I go on to the next table because I don't want to deal with someone who's doing. Look, this ain't. You're not putting stuff in a museum, and I know you're paying the fee and you want to do it. That's fine, but nah, that's just I don't vibe with that stuff.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's like you go to a bookie and you're like, I want the Dolphins given 3 points, and they're like, oh no, like I really like that bet. Maybe could we do like -4? It's like no, it's like the market decides, not that's it.
So that's the only show you've been to? Is that same one there?
Oh no, I've been to a couple. We in West Palm. There's the Kennel Club. There's one at the Polish Club, the American Polish Club, and yeah, then the one at the Kennel Club.
Is it a lot of vintage dealers?
It's no. It's
No?
a mix. It's a mix.
Okay.
Well, I honestly wouldn't even know. I don't know what a lot is, or I don't have much experience. But yeah, there's a show in Fort Lauderdale at this really sketchy hotel, and yeah, I've only been to one big show in West.
What was that? What was the big show?
It was one in, I think it was November. It was just West Palm card show.
Still local. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking that is because you got to go to a good show. That's what I'm saying. So one of these ones, like all of the flip shows are great. Or like Nashville is good. Dallas is a cool show to go to. There's that one in the Tampa area is pretty good. There's a big show in Tampa.
Yeah, at Raymond James, I think I heard about it.
Yeah. Right. Yep. So you go to one of those, and then your whole, you'll see.
The vendors got to compete with each other. Yeah.
Well, you'll see where the hobby is thriving, and where like it will change your perspective on like, okay, the hobby's in a decent place. Because what I see is, I think we've sort of, because of the reset in pricing, I believe that we are in a much better, more healthy place. And there's a lot of new people coming in. I'm telling you, on the regular. Like, who was it? Who was it I saw? There's a lot of athletes and stuff like starting to get into it as well, going to shows. Like there's one prospect. Oh, it was Bridgeport. I don't know if y'all ever watch this stuff.
Yeah.
Bridgeport Hobby. So one of the Bum and Chrome prospect guys,
Max Muncy.
He was at a show, and so I think the hobby is in a very healthy place right now, and it's in a place where I believe it's starting to stabilize and actually begin to get. And, it could actually be getting becoming a better hobby. Actually,
I agree. Yeah. I agree. We filtered out a lot of the quick make a quick buck folks, and we're getting down to the real people that are in this that have been in this hobby, and then the new folks I think are getting in. Right now, I think is a great time as a new person. If I'm just starting to do sports cards right now, this is a wonderful time in my mind to get involved and because you're able to get cards at prices that are back to, in my mind, a little more normal. So. If you're just a first time collector out there, I think this is a great time to, spend some money and get some cards and, have that journey of taking it where it's going to take you. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not easy. And here's the other thing I want to say too. We were talking about selling cards. I want to get your guys to all this. And I think this is a big thing too. I want to make real clear because I know YouTube and some other Instagram and everything else sort of glamorizes it to a degree is selling and buying sports cards or TCG cards is not easy. Okay, I don't care if like JMac, you got 7,000 listings. Huck, you got a huge store where you sell a bunch of your stuff on eBay. Selling cards, whether in person, online, in general, is not an easy thing. It's not easy. It takes some work. It takes some talk. It takes some knowledge. It takes some skill. It takes a lot of different components. Just like you would for selling anything in life, if you're a salesperson, or even if you're now. I'm not sitting there saying you got to sell a card per se. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, like on a general, it's not for everybody. That's as a whole. And I think people get frustrated with that component as well, thinking, well, this should be easy. I got this rookie card and it's worth this much. Now I should be able to sell it. No. It's only worth as much as someone's willing to pay for it. And that's the thing that gets lost on a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now you only need one person to buy it if it's one card. So, one person in the world thinks it's worth that value, giddy up, sell it. But it's not easy to buy and sell cards. That's where I'm at with it. And it takes a lot of work. Jason, just like you, I didn't get to where I'm at today because with my cards and collection and things like that by just pouring a bunch of money on everything. It had to be a work. It had to be process. I had to learn, make mistakes, figure that stuff out type stuff.
Yep.
You know?
Yep,
Yeah.
I was telling you too. I was like, I'm probably putting in 12, 14 hours. A lot of days I'm putting in 12, 14 hours to do this, full time thing, and but I would rather do that than have someone telling me what I have to do every day, go to meetings and all that stuff. So it's but yes, absolutely. And so to source stuff, to find stuff, you get it, and then you gotta sort it and um, list it and rinse, repeat. It's a ton of work. There's research involved all the time researching. If you're not, then you're missing opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to say one more thing too, quick. I'm going to take my 1 minute spiel out of this whole where we're an hour and 7 minutes right now, and just because I put TCG cards in my title, and here's the one thing I want to say about like TCG and the thing that you don't have to worry about with TCG. You never hear about Charizard, getting arrested for domestic violence. You never hear about breaking an ankle and being out for the year. So I will tell you guys out there that are really interested in TCG, and there's a lot of great different TCG besides Pokemon that have a good history or are going to have a good history. Those things to me are sort of like bonds or like stabilizer things. They're not. They're going to go up, but they're going to go up gradually. And you got really hardcore people that are all about TCG cards, and I feel like too that's a good entry point for a lot of new folks. Pick up a 99 Charizard, pick up something that's different. Those type of cards. Learn about those type of things, and tell you what, man. On some of these cards, his artwork is unbelievable. On some of these cards, and the gameplay is really incredible too. It's just a different game. It's not football, it's not basketball, it's not baseball, but it's a game. Settled on a table, and the people really are passionate and care about. So that's my 1 minute of TCG. I've really spent at least with my son, my soon-to-be 11-year-old son, who's grown up loving TCG cards. So I'm trying to, along with him, I've had to learn about a lot of that stuff. So I don't know. I'm just a big proponent of TCG as a whole too. So I don't know, Jason. I know you've got some in collections. Huck's already showcased. He's really gotten into some TCG, and I think it's I know we're talking sports cards, but same token.
Anything that has high demand and a limited or low circulating supply, that's it. That's what you want to buy, invest in, no matter what it is. People want it. There aren't enough for everyone, and there you go. That's a buy all day.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. It also, it's your buying point. Making sure you're getting in things at a a decent buy-in, so you can make, because you can be a proficient in anything and make money on anything if you buy it right. There's a reseller channel called Buy at the Right Price. That's the name of the channel. So if you buy at the right price, then that's where like I was saying about buying these $500 to $1,000 collections, and if there's enough good stuff, even if it's just $5 to $10 cards, guess what? The risk is so low on it, because over time you're going to make your money back. And I guess the only risk is you maybe not selling it fast enough to get your money back to be able to do it again. So it might take a little longer. So, but to each his own. And absolutely, there's niches everywhere where you can, overlook markets, different areas that you could definitely do really well in. So, well, I don't want to hang out too late tonight, because I'm going to be on another live stream tomorrow night over there on Huddle Card Collection. I'll be sharing it on my community tab. So, but this has been fun. Huck,
good
to see you, buddy.
Thank you, JMac, Josh. This was a great time. Really great time talking to you guys. I learned a lot.
Like I said, we just got to keep scheduling these things throughout the year. I think they're good. JMac, I think you do a great job. I really appreciate you setting it up for us and everything. So
For sure. Oh yeah, and I linked both their channels for anyone who hasn't subscribed or checked them out. Like I said, don't be confused by Josh's channel name. It was Josh F from Mississippi. Now it's the 047, the 047 Sports and TCG cards. So links down below for those guys. Be sure to go check them out and subscribe, and hit the like button on the way out. Anything else? Anything else we want to talk about before we roll?
I think we're good.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
All right. Appreciate it. Deuces.
Take care, everyone.
We're gonna use this tagline every time we do live stream.
I like it.